sun was setting over the forest, casting long shadows on the ground. The family of 4 had been hiking for hours, looking for a good spot to set up their tent. They had left their car at the entrance of the park, following a trail that led them deeper into the woods. They were tired, hungry, and thirsty, but they didn't want to give up. They had planned this camping trip for months, hoping to spend some quality time together and enjoy nature. They had brought everything they needed: a tent, sleeping bags, a flashlight, a first aid kit, some food and water, and a map. They finally reached a clearing near a river. The water looked dark and murky, but it was the only source of water they could find. They decided to camp there for the night, hoping to find a better place in the morning. They set up their tent and started a fire. The parents, John and Lisa, sat on a log and watched their 2 children, Anna and Ben, play near the river. Anna was 12 years old and Ben was 8. They were both adventurous and curious, always eager to explore new things. "Be careful, kids," Lisa called out. "Don't go too close to the water. It might be dangerous." "Don't worry, Mom," Anna replied. "We're just looking for rocks and shells." Lisa smiled and turned to John. "They're having fun, aren't they?" John nodded. "They are. This was a good idea after all. We needed a break from the city." They hugged each other and watched the fire crackle. They felt a sense of peace and relaxation, forgetting about their worries and problems. Suddenly, they heard a scream. They looked up and saw Ben lying on the ground, near the edge of the river. He had tripped over a root and fallen into the water. "Ben!" Lisa shouted, jumping to her feet. "John, help him!" John ran to the river, followed by Lisa and Anna. They saw Ben struggling in the water, gasping for air. The current was strong and he was being dragged downstream. "Ben, hold on," John yelled. "I'm coming." He jumped into the water, swimming towards his son. He reached him and grabbed his arm, trying to pull him to the shore, but the water was too deep and too fast. John felt himself losing his grip on Ben. "John, don't let go," Lisa screamed, standing on the bank. "Please don't let go." John looked at her, his eyes filled with fear and desperation. He opened his mouth to say something, but then he disappeared under the water, along with Ben. Lisa and Anna stared in horror, waiting for them to resurface, but they didn't. The river swallowed them whole, leaving no trace. "John! Ben!" Lisa cried, sobbing uncontrollably. "Where are you? Come back!" Anna hugged her mother, trying to comfort her. She was also crying, but she tried to be brave. She looked at the river, hoping to see her father and brother emerge from the water. But she saw nothing. They waited for what seemed like an eternity, but nothing changed. The river was silent and still, as if nothing had happened. Lisa felt a surge of anger and frustration. She couldn't accept that they were gone. She refused to believe it. She had to do something. She had to find them. She let go of Anna and ran to the water, ready to jump in. She didn't care about the danger. She only cared about her family. "Mom, no!" Anna shouted, grabbing her arm. "Don't do it! It's too late! They're gone!" Lisa shook her off, pushing her away. "No, they're not! They're still alive! I know it! I have to save them!" She jumped into the water, ignoring Anna's pleas. She dove under the surface, looking for John and Ben. She couldn't see anything, but she felt something. A cold, slimy, and scaly thing. It wrapped around her leg, squeezing it hard. She screamed, but no one heard her. She was dragged deeper into the water until she blacked out. Anna watched in horror as her mother disappeared into the water, just like her father and brother. She was alone, on the shore, with no one to help her. She felt a wave of panic and despair wash over her. She didn't know what to do. She wanted to run away, but she couldn't. She wanted to cry, but she couldn't. She wanted to die, but she couldn't. She sat on the ground, staring blankly at the river. She waited for something to happen, but nothing did. The night fell, and the darkness enveloped her. She felt cold, hungry, and thirsty, but she didn't care. She felt nothing. She didn't know how long she stayed there, but it felt like forever. She lost track of time and of herself. She was numb and empty. Then she heard a splash. She looked up and saw something in the water. It was a boy about her brother's age. He was swimming towards the shore with a smile on his face. He looked familiar, but different. He had the same brown hair and blue eyes as Ben, but his skin was pale and his teeth were sharp. He had gills on his neck and fins on his arms and legs. He was not human. He reached the shore and climbed out of the water. He walked towards Anna, still smiling. He spoke, but his voice was raspy and distorted. "Hi, sis," he said. "I'm back." Anna felt a surge of fear and disgust. She recognized him, but she didn't. He was her brother, but he wasn't. He was something else. Something of ill. She backed away from him, shaking her head. "No, you're not. You're not Ben. You're a monster." He frowned, tilting his head. "What do you mean? I'm Ben. I'm your brother. Don't you remember me?" He reached out his hand, trying to touch her. She slapped it away, feeling a burning sensation on her palm. She looked at it and saw a blister forming. His skin was toxic. She screamed, jumping to her feet. She ran to the tent, looking for something to defend herself. She found the flashlight and turned it on. She pointed it at him, hoping to scare him away. He blinked, shielding his eyes. He hissed, showing his fangs. He didn't like the light. "Stop it, sis," he said. "That hurts. Turn it off." She ignored him, keeping the flashlight on. She looked around, looking for something else. She found the first aid kit and opened it. She took out a pair of scissors and held them in her hand. She was ready to fight. He saw the scissors and frowned. He didn't like them either. "Put that down, sis," he said. "You don't want to hurt me. I'm your brother. I love you." He took a step towards her, reaching out his hand. She took a step back, holding the scissors in front of her. "Stay away from me, you freak," she said. "You're not my brother. You're not even alive. You're a corpse, a zombie, a fish." He shook his head, looking hurt. He didn't understand. "No, sis," he said. "I'm not. I'm alive. I'm real. I'm Ben." He took another step towards her, trying to hug her. She stabbed him in the chest, piercing his heart. He gasped, dropping to his knees. He looked at her with tears in his eyes. "Why, sis," he said. "Why did you do that? I'm your brother. I love you." He fell to the ground, bleeding. He stopped moving. He stopped breathing. He was dead. Anna dropped the scissors, feeling a mix of relief and guilt. She had killed him, but she had to. He was not her brother. He was a monster. She looked at his body, feeling sick. She wondered what had happened to him. How had he changed? Where was her real brother? She looked at the river, feeling curious. She wondered what was in there, what had taken her family, what had made them into monsters. She felt a strange urge to find out, to see for herself, to dive into the water. She walked towards the river, feeling drawn to it. She reached the edge and looked down. She saw something in the water. It was a man about her father's age. He was swimming towards the shore with a smile on his face. He looked familiar but different. He had the same black hair and green eyes as John, but his skin was pale and his teeth were sharp. He had gills on his neck and fins on his arms and legs. He was not human. He reached the shore and climbed out of the water. He walked towards Anna, still smiling. He spoke, but his voice was raspy and distorted. "Hi, honey," he said. "I'm back."
That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss any of our future content. We love hearing from you, so leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Let us know what you'd like to see next, or if you have any questions about today's story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and always stay curious. Peace out!